What's up, IGN? We have the new Star Wars title. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens.
Actually, it's only, from what I understand, it's only Star Wars The Force Awakens, which to me opens up a very, interesting question. Why not put in the episode title like all the other ones?
There's no number in there? How are we going to know?
Yeah, we'll lose track. Now,
I bet it's to keep general audiences from not being like, well, number 7, where's the 1 through 6? People who aren't, down on the Star Wars lingo.
It's also, to me, it signals that this is a new start and everything. But before we get into what we think this actually means for the story, I'm just curious, what do you think of the title, The Force Awakens?
I think it's acceptable. It doesn't blow me away. I remember when we first heard the Phantom Menace, and I was like, ooh, there's this mystery, this intrigue. What does that mean? What could this be? But this is more okay. That's not as cool as something as The Empire Strikes Back. But it's better than A New Hope. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think it's fine. I think it's to me, it tells me enough about what I think this movie is going to be about. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the title doesn't matter. The minute I see the Jedi back in action, or Han Solo and Luke and Leia together again on the big screen, that's what I'll remember. But Empire Strikes Back is an awesome title. But if the movie stunk, we wouldn't really care. It's just that it's a great title for a great movie. I think this is perfectly suitable. It's somewhere in the middle. If I had to rank the titles, Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, cool titles. Attack of the Clones, not to so much. I don't. New Hope is kind of,
It's about New Hope level for you.
Yeah, it's about New Hope level, which is fine because you know what, the original Star Wars rocks. So why not?
And they also just wanted to put the Force in the title. I feel. And
yeah,
that's how they got it in there.
Yeah.
So that's our first reaction. But what do you think that means for what the movie's going to be about?
All right, I tend to think that it's actually speaking more about something malevolent than I think it is about the good guys of the movie. There have been a lot of rumors and speculation that the bad guys of the movie might be Sith worshippers, and this to me kind of suggests that you're awakening almost like an evil spirit.
An ancient evil.
Yeah, something like that. So I think
a Force ghost.
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
Oh
Emperor.
My God.
No.
Yeah, I think it actually speaks more to the threat of the movie, the Phantom Menace, if you will, of what they might be dealing with. But you seem to have a more kind of a heroes kind of take on the title.
Yeah,
right?
My theory is, and give me a second here, but it's from The Legend of Korra, the Avatar series. There was only one airbender, and then he had a tiny airbender family, but that was it. And that's sort of where we are with the Force users in Star Wars universe. It's just Luke and Leia's Force sensitive, but that's it. And the bad guys are dead. So in Avatar, what happened was the door of the spirit world opened, and a bunch of airbenders started popping up all over the world who could airbend all of a sudden, people, kids and adults and everybody. So they went around the world recruiting these people, or at least trying to, and the ones who said yes, they brought them back, they trained them, they put them in cool robe uniforms, and they started just helping people selflessly like Jedi would.
Yeah.
But some people said no, and they went off and did their own thing. So I feel if that were to happen in the Star Wars universe, the Force will awaken in a bunch of people, so that'll be Luke's mission to go around and find these newly Force sensitive people, try and bring them back and make them Jedi. Of course, people that say no, they might become Sith. So,
right.
And I think the reason is because I think the directors, the storytellers, they want more toys to play with. If just Luke and Leia and then their kids are Jedi, there's not enough lightsabers to go around. You know what I mean? And where are the bad guys going to come from? I mean, there could be ancient Sith who've been sleeping and waiting and stuff, but I just think it would be cool to have just build up an entire new cast of Jedi and Sith for these modern Star Wars movies.
I think the title also suggests the kind of the obvious, which is things have been fine for the last 3 decades, but now there's a new threat has emerged, and so I think it plays on the idea of the passage of time too.
Yeah.
But I think that the title is fine. I think really what it comes down to is the same as any movie. Is will the story work? Will it recapture the essence of what Star Wars is? And for me, Star Wars: The Force Awakens, that sounds like a Star Wars story to me. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I feel like it's also like a very like safe title. And I think that speaks to what the movie's going to be like. They're not going to try anything crazy. They're just going to give us like lots of like Star Wars like fun lightsabers and Force, and try and bring it back to like sort of the spiritual Force stuff that we got
kind
in,
of
like,
basically
Empire.
Jackson.
Yeah, not do anything like crazy. Get no CGI talking rabbit people.
No Jackson? Come on, I want Jackson.
I was referring to Jar Jar Binks, but
yeah. Oh, hey, one of these days
big floppy ears.
I'll get my Jackson, the green rabbit from the comics.
Yes, he actually is coming back in the comics. That's a completely different conversation. But for more things on Star Wars, keep it locked to IGN.